Hello and welcome to this week's Chatty Corner. So, here's what we're talking about this week. Quick little intro to tell you what's happening. Obviously, we'll have our usual updates on what's happening with Tomb Raider 3. I've got some news about PlayStation All-Stars Remastered and the patch notes that I keep going on about. I have put them up, so stay tuned for that. What I've currently been playing, which includes Fatal Frame 5. I have been playing a bit of that, so there's that. I'll be talking about some news. I'll be talking about Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Activision, and Sony's Paris Games Week conference. So with that in mind, let's get started, shall we? First of all, the Tomb Raider 3 updates. Here's what is happening with Tomb Raider 3. Things are definitely very much on track. Like I mentioned when I was doing the Resident Evil stuff, I kind of fell behind because I was kind of pushing to get the Resident Evil stuff done, and so I missed a couple of weeks of doing Tomb Raider stuff, so I fell behind on recording, but I managed to hold it together quite nicely, and I haven't got the need to skip any weeks. The point I'm at now with recording is Antarctica, so I'm pretty much back on schedule. My original schedule was pretty much I was recording a whole section of levels ahead of what's currently going up, so I should be recording this week. According to schedule, I should be recording The Lost City of Tinos, so I'm still one level behind, but we're getting there. We're almost there. It's good. I'm still editing Ludscape though, so but it should be up by next week. Currently the footage is standing at about an hour and a half, which is the longest of any level, but that's coming down considerably as I go through and edit it. It was an hour and a half when I sat down to edit it yesterday. It ended up about an hour and 24 minutes, because 6 minutes of retrying stuff got cut out. So there's that. So yeah, there's nothing really going on. Like I've said before, I do have ideas for what my next Let's Play will be after Tomb Raider 3, which will begin in the new year. Just because the way Tomb Raider's going, it will be Christmas by the time that finishes, and then I'll probably just take a week off or something. And then what we'll have is a new Let's Play starting in the new year. And like I said, it's semi-appropriate, but I'm not going to say any more than that. My plans on it have slightly changed because something has slightly changed in relation to what I'm doing. I'm being very cryptic and I don't care. So there's that. Yes, and I hope you're looking forward to what I'm going to do next. I might have a surprise or two waiting for you on the way as well. What isn't a surprise is PlayStation All-Stars Remastered. Of course, I'm still going ahead with this, but it could be a while before it starts going up. I'm just going to keep you updated on where I'm at with this. I want to keep it as open as possible, and I have put up the patch notes that I keep talking about. I'm calling them patch notes just because it's a general term that's recognised by a lot of people, even though it's probably not the correct thing. It's change notes. It's a change log type thing. If you go onto my blog, there is always a link in the description. There is now a page on my blog which is PlayStation All-Stars Remastered, and what this is, it is a full list of all the sections of every video, as well as changes that would be made to each section. This is there so that people can look at it and offer me advice and help where necessary. So you can take a look at what I'm planning on changing, planning on adding in, and decide, is that right, is that wrong, or could I contribute something there? So if you've got any ideas, please let me know. You don't have to comment on the page, because I've linked to every video, so if you put the notes on the videos themselves, that works too, as long as it's somewhere like that. Don't send me a message, don't send me a comment on my channel, don't post on here, because I won't be able to check it easily. If it's on the actual video, then I will be able to check it easily. Yeah, I'm still adding characters to it. I'm doing them as and when I get around to it. Just kind of, at the moment I'm just checking everything that's in there and what needs to be added in and factoring that in. And then I'll move on to watching through all the videos and making the changes that I want to make. So that's all of that stuff. So yeah, please help me out on that one. I really do want to make PlayStation All-Stars Remastered a lot better. And yeah, I mean, I've said before, the project as a whole probably won't go ahead until after Gravity Rush Remaster comes out, because that's a major factor in why I'm doing what I'm doing, of course. And obviously, if I haven't got the footage from that, then I can't do Cat's video, and I kind of want to release them on a weekly basis, so that they're not going to take a whole year, 2 years to come out like the original videos did. So there is that, so that's cool. So I am currently playing 2 games, kind of. I've been kind of playing them sort of in bits here and there. Continuing on with my chronological challenge, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, and people who follow me on Twitter will have seen me posting very silly things about Final Fantasy VII, taking screenshots and making fun of the game during the whole cross-dressing sequence for the most part, and that was a lot of fun. I haven't really been live tweeting the game at all since then, but I am thoroughly enjoying the game. I still don't think that we need a remake, but that's just me. But I'm having fun with it, and of course because I've played Wild Arms and then I played Final Fantasy VII, my whole chronological challenge has just ground to a halt completely at the moment, because I'm just like going through this really long game. But and it's also kind of been slowed down by the fact that Fatal Frame 5 came out on Friday? Yes, Friday. It was Friday it came out in the UK. I pre-ordered the limited edition, so it arrived on Friday. Game only charged me once for it, so that's good, that's nice, that's what we like to see. They have fixed their system appropriately. Thank you, because I didn't want to be charged multiple times. And like obviously Fatal Frame 5 had a lot of bad reviews, but I don't know why, having played it now. It's not one of the better games of the Fatal Frame series, I'll certainly give you that. First game is better on atmosphere, second game is better on gameplay, in my opinion. Fatal Frame 5, the gameplay takes a while to get used to. I've had some frustrations with it trying to utilise the gamepad properly. And I think it could have really benefited by having some sort of quick turn button, because the amount of times where I'm fighting ghosts and I'm trying to spin around quickly, only to find that I'm getting my face eaten. Kind of annoying at times. Probably should have put a quick turn button. If there is one, then I'm an idiot who hasn't seen it. And also, it hasn't been explained to me very well, so there is that factor as well. So yeah, I mean it's a decent enough game. Characters are no longer like ridiculously slow. It's actually reasonable to just walk with characters now. Especially because the run button is now just flailing around and running into things, and you've got basically barely any control over them at that point. Which I'm not complaining about. It's used more as an escape thing now, rather than just normal movement like the previous games were used for, pretty much. Now the walking speed has been massively improved, and I welcome this change. I mean, aside from the fact that I've had some frustrations with the lack of a quick turn button or anything, I have enjoyed the gamepad and using that as a thing. The mechanics have been switched up a little bit, and once again they've changed like the best ways of getting shutter chances and all of that. And having the gamepad and being able to move that around is kind of interesting. It's weird how much I've grown to like the Wii U's gyroscope. Like Splatoon, there is an option to turn the gyroscope off and just use the stick to look around, but I've never felt the need to do that, because I quite like it. It's nicely tuned properly, and it never causes me much problem. And I've had a similar experience with Fatal Frame 5. I've never really struggled. It's more just trying to deal with the slowness of movement, especially when you're in water. The water mechanic is ridiculously silly. Aside from the fact that it's a wet t-shirt mechanic, let's not go into that. There is the fact that what we have is you can use this item called Purifying Embers, and what that does, it can instantly dry you off, because the wetter you are, the more likely you are to be attacked by ghosts. I don't know why, but there you go. See, here's the problem though. As soon as you use the Purifying Embers, all of the clothes just instantly pop to dry, and it's very silly. It's like you're so soaked that the clothes are just sticking to your character's body, and then suddenly everything's fine, as if they're fresh out of the wash. Fresh out of the dryer, I should say. That's literally what the purifying embers are. They are a hairdryer, apparently. I don't know. It's a good game though. I quite like where they've taken it, and I like the changes that they've made, and it looks really good as well. I definitely have no complaints on a graphical level. My big complaint is on the plot, which I can't justify. Like the gamepad, I'm like, it's just fiddly. But with the plot, I'm like, See, the problem with the plot is, so you've got Yuri, and you've got Ren, and Anna meets Stimpy's friend, and they live in like this little village under the haunted mountain, and Yuri operates out of this antique shop and everything, and the way the plot works is that they keep investigating stuff on the mountain. No one, at any point, seems to consider the idea of just leaving. The idea of having like, oh well, these are psychic people who are willing to look for missing people, kind of feels a bit, doesn't really work. Okay, Yuri's got the thing of she's trying to find her roommate, but yeah, it's weird how they keep going back and forth between the haunted mountain and the shop, which is a nice little shop, and it'd be quite a nice place to live in, really, that shop house combination. It's a nice little place. But that's kind of where the fear factor goes away, because it's like it's this nice comfortable place that you keep going back to. Whereas the other games, the characters were just trapped entirely in the haunted spooky place for the entire game. In the case of Fatal Frame 3, admittedly they were living in Ray's surprisingly nice house, but at least with that it was more of a case of the ghosts were coming to get them. It was kind of descended on their house. Even though life went on as normal, they couldn't live normally until the ghosts were dealt with, but it doesn't feel like that in this one, and it's weird. Also, there's a character who, for the longest time, I didn't know if they were male or female. Spoilers, it's a girl, but yeah, like as soon as she first appeared, I just thought, is that like a 12-year-old boy? Because it kind of looks like a 12-year-old boy. But it also could be a girl. The voice is somewhere between. The voice is very androgynous. The look is very androgynous. Is this a boy or a girl? Let me check the file in the menu. Oh, you've avoided using all gendered pronouns. Good, cool. The only gendered pronouns were referring to Ren, and I think we can tell that Ren is a man. The beard is kind of a clue. And also the fact that the wet t-shirt mechanic isn't nearly as sexy on him deliberately. I don't mean like from my level, I mean that they've designed it to look less sexy. Because of course they have. And I found the Dead or Alive tech, while we're on the subject of these terrible designs of like, hey, let's make the women look sexy. I found the Dead or Alive tech. It's the jiggle physics. Because of course it is. But fortunately, most of the time you barely notice. I just noticed because I was walking in Yuri's really nice house. I walked back from the back door, and it's like this narrow corridor, so I was walking towards the camera, and as soon as she walked up some stairs, the jiggle physics happened, and I was like, really? Really? Something you're not even going to notice as well, because most of the game you're staring at her back. But I don't know. Anyway, Tecmo, that's what happens. So, Fatal Frame 5, not as bad as everyone says it is, but certainly not one of the better games in the series. I'm having fun with it though, so I don't care. It's definitely not a 5 out of 10 game though, come on guys. 7 is probably reasonable, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about news. I've got 2 weeks of news because I didn't do a Chatty Corner last week. Didn't get around to it. I actually genuinely forgot about doing it. I'm sorry. It just happened. Anyway. So Assassin's Creed Syndicate hasn't done very well in the UK. I don't know how it's doing elsewhere, but I know for a fact it hasn't done very well in the UK. partly because of Unity. Apparently the sales are starting to pick up again now because, like, people are saying it's a good game. Shame they put microtransactions in it, because otherwise I might be interested, but never mind. Like, I skipped Unity entirely because, like, after Assassin's Creed 3 I just got bored. And, yeah, the yearly release thing is a problem. And in fact I've got a blog planned to talk about that, about how annual releases are probably worse for a franchise than just doing them whenever you feel like. Because I just got sick of trying to keep up with the entire series. I was like, whatever, I'm tapping out. Bye. The last Assassin's Creed game I played was 3. That was 3 years ago. So there you go. I do have 4, but I haven't even taken it out of its wrapping. I got it as a present last year, but I've not felt the need to load it up yet. I mean, people have said that Black Flag's really good, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'm doing the chronological challenge. I'll get to it eventually. In probably about 2 years' time. At the rate I'm going right now. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not really that surprised that Assassin's Creed Syndicate has been doing really badly. Because Unity was a disaster, and let's be honest, the annual release thing is just making people sick of it. I'm also amused by the fact that apparently the voice actress for Evie, her PR company, has been sending a press release out to journalists, like asking for interviews. And in this press release, she's apparently claimed that Evie is one of the first playable female characters in gaming. Now, those of you who watch me regularly, and have watched me for years, will know exactly why I think that's bollocks. Tomb Raider was almost 20 years ago. Metroid was 10 years before that. So, not quite sure where this whole first playable character thing came from. Even Ubisoft... Alright, so here's the deal. She's not even the first playable female character in the Assassin's Creed series, because you had the woman in the Vita game, Liberation. And wasn't the protagonist of that Chronicles spin-off also a woman? So there's that, and then there's also the fact that even prior to Assassin's Creed, she's not even one of the first playable female characters that Ubisoft have done, because Beyond Good and Evil exists. So I don't know. It's weird. Ubisoft. I mean, at least they found the resources to make a woman this time. There is that. This week we heard news that an unholy alliance was formed, because Activision bought King, who are the people who make Candy Crush. Look forward to all your microtransactions in Call of Duty. Gotta buy all your bullets. It's gonna be fun. I don't know how to feel about this, because Activision are a terrible company and King are a terrible company. King deserve to be just punched repeatedly in the crotch, because the problem with King is that they're the people who tried to sue Banner Saga, the people who made Banner Saga, over the word saga, which they claimed that they trademarked. That's not how trademarks work. And also there's the fact that Candy Crush is kind of obnoxious. And then you've got Activision, who are sitting on the Crash Bandicoot IP and doing nothing with it. Despite the fact that people are saying they want a Crash Bandicoot game, they're like, oh, we don't know. It's not Call of Duty, is it? It's not Destiny. What else do it's not Guitar Hero. Yeah, Guitar Hero Live. I've heard about this stupid... Right, remember my rallying against microtransactions? So here's the deal with Guitar Hero Live. Apparently, like, in order to play songs that you want to play, you've got to sit and watch, like, random songs that you're not interested in to earn credits to be able to rent a song. Like, what is wrong with you? No. This is Activision, so the fact that they've bought Candy Crush and formed this unholy alliance is not really all that surprising. So, what can you do? I suppose it's not as bad as Microsoft buying Minecraft, which angered a lot of people. Most people are looking at this and going, they're made for each other. In the midst of all of this, there was also Sony's Paris Games Week conference, which I kind of enjoyed, because I've been very disappointed with the lineup on the PS4. I've been disappointed with games in general this year. I think I've expressed this before, but I'm going to write a big year-end blog post at some point, just talking a lot about my disappointment with everything right now. There was some good stuff coming out of Paris Games Week, and it was alright to begin with. I was kind of like, yeah. COD was never my scene, and I don't like Star Wars. Well, I'm indifferent to Star Wars. And then it was like Street Fighter, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And there's that game that's basically Borderlands with Ratchet and Clank's colour palette and whatever. And then that game that they didn't tell you anything about, which means it's going to be another No Man's Sky. They had No Man's Sky, which just, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then there was that game that's basically audio surf, but you're forced to listen to Avicii and not, literally whoever you want. It makes me wonder what's the point. Then there's a game that's basically Vanquish, but probably not as good. I've never played Vanquish, but people tell me it's good. After that, things got a bit more interesting, because, like, the new Ratchet and Clank, yeah. And then, I'm liking the look of Horizon Zero Dawn. I just want to see, like, a bit more than just taking down giant dinosaurs. If that's all it is, then I might end up losing interest in it. But got Gravity Rush 2. Looking forward to that. It's going to be amazing. I want it now. They showed off more of Dreams, which is Media Molecule's new thing, and it was adorable. And I don't care about anything else. I just want to play around in this silly little game with the little panda thing, which is the official term apparently used by the actual developers. And just it's cute. And then there was the game where you can ride bears like horses. I don't care about anything else you can do in Wild. You can ride a bear like a horse. Sold. Take my money. That's it. I'm done. That's the thing, I was watching that little thing, and there was he called the bear, and he started wandering over to the bear, and I started thinking to myself, wouldn't it be funny if he just rode the bear? It was a joke, and then he rode the bear, and I was like, what? So, I'm sold. I'm done. That's it. Must have. And then David Cage, he watched Humans and said, that is my emotions. And so he's doing Humans now. It's probably not going to be as good as Humans was, because it's being made by a literal android. David Cage, who has no idea how a human interaction works. And there's going to be a shower scene, and somehow a toilet scene with the android. You're going to be able to take this lady android into a toilet and take a piss. That's how David Cage designs his games. That's how it works. I can guarantee it. I'm curious about Detroit just because David Cage is an idiot. His games are pretentious and full of themselves and think of themselves as high art, but they're also really bad. He can't tell a story to save his life. So that'd be interesting, but I'm not interested in it for the reason that I should be interested in it for. I'm interested in it because I want to see just how much of a train wreck it's gonna be. So that's everything, I believe. I don't think there are any other game news things that I want to talk about. I know Eurogamer wrote a very bizarre piece about their exciting new find in Life is Strange, which is that apparently the world of Life is Strange has a 2x3 IKEA cabinet that doesn't actually exist in real life. They were I love stuff like that. It's bizarre, but why? It was hilarious, but why? Anyway, that's all I can think about with gaming news. I'm just destroyed by that. So yeah, I think that's everything for this week. Kind of bit of a mixed bag of stuff that I've thrown at you. Again, as always, let me know in the comments what you thought about what I'm talked about this week, and yeah. Oh, if you're interested in the PlayStation All-Stars history stuff, and you want to see me make corrections and stuff, please go onto my blog. Please have a look at the changes I'm proposing. Please give me feedback. Please offer suggestions. Please do all of that. It's going to be a massive help in making that series great. I hope you're enjoying Aldwych this week, and hope you enjoy Ludsgate next week. It's going to be very fun, that one, because something interesting happens. Let's just put it that way. Something that I didn't expect to happen, but did happen. So, yeah. And until then, I'll see you next week. If I remember to do Chatty Corner next week. Which could be interesting. Next week. Next week. We're into November, aren't we? So, next week, if you are in Leeds and you are going to Thought Bubble in Leeds next weekend, then I will be at Thought Bubble in Leeds next weekend. So, there is that. And if you're not going to that, but you're going to Birmingham Comic Con the week after, I'm going to be at Birmingham Comic Con. So, if you see me there, then say hi. I will be wearing a squid hat. Well, say a squid hat, but I know what image that's conjuring up. It's the baseball cap that they've got with the 8-bit squid on. I'll be wearing that. So, yeah, that's that. So hopefully I'll see some of you at those things. If anybody's going, I know a couple of you are going, because you've said on previous times that I've mentioned this, that you're going. And, yeah, I would like to chat to you people if you're around. And I'm sorry in advance if it's awkward and weird. So, yeah. Social anxiety does that to you. So, I think that's everything for now, and I will see you next week. Bye!